Okay, everybody. I'm a couple minutes early, so I'm going to wait for everyone to pop in. I am so excited. I am so passionate about this subject. It's just so important, and it's so important to just be aware of our surroundings. And so it's just like my honor to show up and support you all in Whole Body Detox. So while we're starting to pop in, let me get to comments here. Let me know where you're all coming from and where you are located in the world. And yeah, just share with me so I kind of know. And my other question is hey Jackie, hey Ruth. My other question is for all of you is, are you on a natural wellness path yourself? Have you jumped into really like doing a deep dive into natural healing? Hey, Instagram. And just put healing in the comments for me, so I know where we're at, so that when I talk to the audience, I can kind of gauge what level you want me to talk at and connect with you on. Because the more I connect with you and the more that we are truly wanting to make behavior changes, it's just such an amazing journey. So I am going to be calling out throughout this sort of entire masterclass questions. And I just would love for all of you to just jump in and respond, because truly I look at all the comments afterwards and it helps guide me as where you all are on your health journey. And even if you put questions in and you ask me questions, that helps guide me to where you're going. So with all of those things coming in, hey Gina, how are you? Just so grateful to have all of you here. So with all of that aside, you guys all promise that you're going to connect with me, because the truth is I bet everybody's been trying to tell you how to eat, what behavior changes, what habits. And the reality is those of you that are working with me as patients, or those that have been around me, know that every single human being gets to create a plan that is meant for them and that works for them. And that's what makes you successful on your health and wellness journey. It is very much impossible to do what your friends are doing, your family's doing, your husband's doing, your wife's doing, your partner, because we're all differently genetically, right? We are all different. So the key to supporting each and every one of you is knowing where you're at on your journey. And then I want to also make a little bit of a comment here, and it goes like this. Anything that I talk about on these lives is merely just education to get you thinking. There's ways that you can ask your practitioners. There's ways to connect with me if you're interested in working directly with me. But please don't take this as medicine and try to treat and diagnose yourself. Are we all good with that? If we are, just put yes in the chat. Just don't want to cause any disruption for people. And really, many people don't understand naturopathic medicine, but it is a medicine. There is a science to it. And I do heal with supplements, and I do look at labs. And many of you know on here that when you try to go at it alone and you try to figure it out, it's just so important that you get to realize that all of these parameters are important. However, unfortunately, with my heart, I'm saying this with love, because I love my medical practitioners and functional medicine practitioners. They often are taught to do a medication for something that's disharmonized in the body. And notice I say disharmonized, and it's often blocking the organ body system. So there's a time and a place for pharmaceutical medications. There's a time and a place for naturopathic medicine. So today, It's all going to be talking about detox because I want you all at the end of today to really understand why detoxing our bodies are important. Because just like you, I'm so frustrated with so much information out there on let's just do a 30-day detox. Let's just drink water. I'm not saying water therapy isn't important, but know when you're doing it and have a practitioner on board. And you're also going to know that when I go through this over the next 5 days, welcome everybody who's popping in. As I go through this the next 5 days, you're going to notice I'm not telling you to not eat. Get that in your mind. The other key factor is most people don't eat enough. I'm pausing. Did you all hear that? I see that many of you are, women on here, you don't eat enough because we've been taught don't eat, exercise more, and you'll lose weight. And I'm coming to tell you that the people that eat enough and eat quality, healthy, whole, nutrient dense, rich foods are the ones that lose weight and get into a balance of where your body is. So I always tell patients right off the bat, when you're working with me, it's about creating a plan for you and it's figuring out what foods work for you. Are we all game? Are we ready? I'm just so excited to dive in. So you all got in your email today what I'm going to talk about. And I do that on purpose so that you can come prepared each day with questions, so that I can support you, because at the end of the day, I'm here to help you on your health journey. Are we all on the same page? All right, let's dive in because enough talking from me. So we are discussing the whole body detox. I am going to talk about what is cleansing today, the organs of elimination. I'm going to do a deep dive into understanding why it's crucial for our body, briefly the science, but I'm going to do it in layman's terms. I'm going to do it in a fun way so that you get it. And I'm going to talk about the 3 phases. And the key that I want you to pick up here is when your body is detoxed and running like a fine oiled machine, you are going to feel your best. When you're full of sludge and drudge, you're going to feel miserable. You are going to feel dragged down. You are not going to have the energy to function every single day. It's going to pull you down. And so when you get out of bed in the morning, you might be fatigued, and it could be as simple as you're eating the wrong foods. Okay? So let's do this. But one more thing that I want to clear so that I know, how many people in the communities have actually done a whole body detox program? Not just drinking water, not just doing lemon juice, oil, water, cayenne, those sorts of things. How many people just put detox in the comments if you've done a detox? Anybody? No. Really? Out of all my viewers today, nobody's done a full body detox? Okay, so this is even more fun. I have an audience that's never done a detox. Perfect. I've got you. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to take questions when I'm ready to take questions. This way I can kind of get in a flow and get you going. So when we're talking about detoxing, we're actually talking about cleansing. Cleansing has been part of our cultures all throughout the years, for thousands and thousands of years. So there's indigenous cultures around the world, century-old spiritual practices like sweat lodges, like fasting, ways to use herbal medicine to induce purging as well. So many of these cultures view it as cleansing and healing as one process. So we're looking at the Jewish culture, the Muslim culture, Buddhist, Islamic, Christian, and so many other religions across the board have done fasting and or dietary restriction. And there's very much a difference. So there's like water fasting, and then there's fasting from maybe removing sugars from your food, for example. So when we take the word detox, it is actually the physiological or medicinal way that we remove toxic substances from our body. So it's the concept comes around from our bodies are being designed to actually detoxify themselves naturally. So when we look at what systems detox, we are naturally detoxing through organs. And these are the organs, and I'm going to talk about them more in detail. But the liver, it's the great filterer. The kidneys, the lungs with our breath, we can breathe in toxicity or release toxicity. And then the entire digestive system, because mouth to the anus is up to the outside world. That's to the outside world. So when all of these systems are working, these organ systems are working together, we're transforming toxins. We're removing them through the body in ways of urination, defecation, sweating, and breathing, like respiration. You know, that's one of the reasons why breath work is so important, not only for the nervous system, but also for the body. So the challenge is in our modern world today, we have a myriad of toxins coming at us. How many of us realize how many toxins come at us every single day that we just cannot control? Put toxins in the comments for me. Like, it's just everywhere. We just can't get away from it. And it's unfortunate. We live in a world of civilization that is corporate driven. They need to get rid of garbage. There's incinerations, which we'll talk about, and they are just everywhere. So it's up to you and I as a consumer and a human on this planet to be aware of how can we know where our toxins are coming from. And this is the other major key. How can we decrease our toxin load? Are you with me? Like, that's what we're going to learn, because I bet there's many things that we're going to talk about where toxins are coming in that you're like, whew, I never thought of that. And I'll be honest with you, one of the reasons why I love doing these programs is because now I get to re-see where if I'm learning, I get to dive deep into research to give you quality information. So this benefits you and I. Sorry, it's super hot over here, so I'm trying to stay on track, but we're having humidity here in the Northeast. So I'm in New Hampshire. For those of you that put where you are, that's where I'm coming from. So we have exposures of all these chemicals, and all these exposures can burden our natural ways to detox. So we think of ways to do it through supplementation, we do it through diet, we do it through therapies, but that's what we're going to talk about over the next 5 days. We want to unload these toxins in a healthy way so that our organs that I just mentioned can function more effectively. So that's our goal. So now I want to do a deep dive into the organs of detoxification. So the primary organ that helps us detoxify our body is actually our liver. It removes harmful substances from the blood, transforms this toxicity into a form that can be eliminated, and it produces bile that helps carry the waste away. So I always say, like, how we all go in and we get, well, I don't now, but I did when I had a non-gas car. I have an electric car now, but how many of you know that you need to go get your filter changed in your car every 3,500 or 7,000 miles? That was one of the emails I sent out to all of you. Like, that's important. It's the same thing with our liver. We need to keep it clean, and we get to keep it clean. So every pharmaceutical drug that comes in, every hormone and things that comes in goes through the liver first. So the first thing I look at with the hormone imbalances is I want to clean out the liver. Is the liver functioning appropriately? Because if it's backed up, all these other processes can back up. Does that all make sense? Are we all on the same page? We got it? Kidneys. So the kidneys not only filter the blood and they produce urine, and that carries out many of our waste products and our toxins, but they also help maintain a healthy balance of water, salts, and minerals in the blood. So the kidneys are key as well. Lungs. The lungs allow us to actually breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide as a waste product for metabolism. So they also filter out some of the toxins from the air, and they expel them when we exhale. So that's another way to actually breathe out toxicity. The other key one is the skin. So many people don't realize that the skin, when we start to get acne, or you start to get psoriasis, or you start to get skin conditions, the first place I look is the gut. It's the gut, because as the gut is overloaded and the bowels aren't working as well, there's a tendency towards constipation. You're not drinking enough water, urinating it out. You're holding your breath. And I'm talking to all of you. I have to remember to put breathe in my mind as well. Then the toxicity can start to come out in the skin. So that our skin is our largest organ, and it's the way we expel toxins as well. So it's actually also our barrier to the outside world. And it's preventing harmful substances from coming into the body when it's not overloaded. So I just talked about the digestive tract. Let's talk about the colon and the gut. That is a huge role in detoxification. So if your bowels aren't working twice a day, yes, I said twice a day. If not, I want 3 times a day. Like, my goal is 3 times a day with my patients. If you're not eliminating, I did illumination. Elimination equals illumination, meaning you get to be bright and cheery and have beautiful skin and be happy and be vibrant. When the colon eliminates toxins through the feces, it also helps get estrogen out. It's just so, like, the bowels need to move on all levels. I mean, I do a GI masterclass a couple times a year. So if you have more questions about that. But the other key is, as we're eliminating toxins through the feces, we also want beneficial gut bacteria to neutralize our harmful substances. So I call them good neighbors and bad neighbors. And we're going to talk about the importance of pre and probiotics throughout this once we get deeper in. So I hope I'm not losing anyone. I'm really just trying to 100% engage. Are any questions coming up for anybody on the organs? Okay. My last one is lymphatic system. That is like right next to the cardiovascular system. It has vessels and it had nodes, and it helps remove waste products from the body's tissues. And the lymph system plays a huge role in the immune response. So in order for all of these systems to work together and function together and eliminate, it's going to help you with your overall health and well-being. So I'm just going to stop there and just check in with everybody on here. Is any questions at all that I can answer before I go into my next area, which is, why is detoxing crucial for the body? Anything coming up? No? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. So our bodies naturally are designed to be self-cleansing. And if they don't self-cleanse, we can end up with diagnoses. And how many of you are sick of not being able to lose weight? How many of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired? And how many of you are just so frustrated that you're not feeling your best? Like, it's everywhere, right? I hear it every day at the clinic. Dr. Donahue, I can't lose weight. I don't feel great. What's going on with me? It could be all of these things that we're talking about. So when we're cleansing, we're actually getting rid of toxins so that our cells can begin to circulate more efficiently. These toxins have to be eliminated through those 3 areas that we talked about. The skin, the skin, the stool, the urine, and our breath. That's how we get them out of our system. There's no other way. There's no other way, because our body gets to work like a well-oiled machine. So I want to briefly have fun here. So there's 3 phases of detoxification. And I didn't want to start talking like conjugation and transport and get into the science. I like to do it in a fun way so you all get it, because when things are presented to me fun, when I've never heard them before, then it helps me just learn. So hear me out here. So we have all these processes and all these organ systems working together to detox. And there's biochemistry, there's physiology happening, and there's cellular biology, which has led up to me as detective work to figuring out what's going on. But detoxing is like a housekeeping service for your body. It's the way we get rid of waste and substances called toxins. So let's talk about this in a fun way. It's like putting all of your garbage, which is your toxins, in your body into bags, removing them. But sometimes this process of removing toxins can actually be more dangerous temporarily. That's why it's so important for us to move through 3 phases. One of my triggers that I get frustrated when people try to do detoxes and they're not medical detoxes is because they don't move through the 3 phases of these systems. So the first phase is actually where the toxins, which are actually fat soluble, and toxins love to hang out in fat. They're lipophilic. They are prepared for elimination from the liver, right? So that's what I'm saying with the garbage. We're putting all of our toxins into bags and then we're getting rid of them. And that's the importance, again, why we need to move to phase 2 pretty quickly. So now if we take the garbage bags from phase 1, we get them all packed up, I'll say into a safer form. I don't know how else to say that. The toxins are tied up with water-loving substances so that they can become harmless and can dissolve in water, which takes us to the final removal. So clinically, what's happening in that phase is the toxin is being bound to water-soluble substances, and it makes it less harmful and ready for excretion. The last 3 is the removal. So we're prepping it, we're packing it, and we're removing it. So this is actually taking your trash out. This is the packed up toxins are moved out of your cells and they leave your body through what? Urination, skin, breathing out, or defecation. Like that's how they get out. So scientifically in that removal phase, that's how water-soluble toxins are being removed out of the cells and eliminated through the kidneys, the skin, the lungs, and the digestive system. So there's certain nutrients from our foods that, like vitamins and amino acids, those are the building blocks of protein. This is why I hit home. Most people don't eat enough protein. I say this on every single live with all of you. you should eat a minimum of 100 grams as a female, if not the other number that you can use, which many people and patients struggle too. On days I struggle, I throw out where I struggle, is your body weight in grams. So if you weigh 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein because you need that building block. So if you don't get enough of those nutrients that I just talked about, then your body may struggle to get rid of nutrients. And there's certain labs that I look at when I go through, like I'm looking at liver enzymes, I'm looking at protein, so there's a way that I look at when I want to send the body through a detox. So our modern lifestyle can expose us to so much toxins, or so many toxins. And this is when a detox program can be helpful. But I want to share with you, if you're exhausted and you're tired and you're fatigued and there's other things going on, please be wary if you're going to go at this alone. Because I honestly probably don't put people through a detox unless they've built their bodies up. So any questions coming up? I want to kind of do this in steps because there's a lot of information. But is there any questions that's coming up for anybody? Who can put in the chat the 4 systems? Who can tell me what I said those 4 systems are? Who can send that back to me of how we get rid of toxins? Anybody? No? All right, I'll keep going. You guys don't want to play today? I love it better when you play. Oh, thank you, Donise. She's got it. The skin, the breath, the pee, the poop. The pee, right? P squared, I like to say. Awesome. Great job. So I want to dive into, because you're probably saying, Dr. Donahue, how do toxins affect my body? Well, first of all, they can actually have you hold on to weight, make you feel puffy. Remember, I said toxins love fat cells. They love to hang out there. They can affect almost every organ system. So this is just a generalization for you guys to start to think like, wow, I'm not peeing enough. I'm not pooping enough. I'm not breathing enough. And like, my skin does not look good. So, toxins can affect neurology. So, certain pesticides can truly harm the nervous system. If you're an individual, let me just give you a heads up. If you're an individual and you walk down an aisle of like the grocery store, or you walk into a department store where all the makeup and the perfumes are, and you immediately need to leave, you probably have a toxicity problem. So that's what we call chemical sensitivity in my world, because the body is just like so overloaded, and your olfactory, which is your nose and your smell, is just becoming overloaded. You could also have sensitivity to smells because you're not around them much, which is where I am. I have a really hard time walking down the grocery store aisles where all the cleaning products are. Like, I just can't do it because I don't have any chemicals around me, but we'll get to that. So if you're getting like headache, fatigue, remember, some of these symptoms can cross over. So I'm not diagnosing or treating here. I want you guys, everybody that's jumping on all platforms here, because we're increasing our rate right now. Show this does not mean I'm diagnosing you. This is merely just information. Numbness, these things over long term can actually contribute to neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So those of you that have family or loved ones that have gone through wars like Vietnam, and we were using Ancient Orange, holy cow, I have patients that are struggling with this, that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, that have like, cystic fibrosis in the lungs. Like there's just so much. Like think about what Ancient Orange was, and it was okay for us to use this, right? So it's a really harsh chemical. Use so much immune suppression and whatnot. Toxins can also weaken the immune system, right? And that makes us more susceptible to infections and diseases. A lot of individuals, women, are finding Hashimoto's right now. That could be reactive food reactivity. It could also be that your gut is not working as well. So what begins to happen is your immune system mistakenly attacks that cell. But if you get that load off of your body, then you can work on healing these systems. Hashimoto's is one that I'm thinking of that came to my mind, but it could also be other autoimmune conditions as well. So many of our toxins that we're going to talk about, and those of you that are in the VIP got a handout for our toxic load, they can be endocrine disruptors. What does that mean? They can interfere with our hormones. These can lead to reproductive issues like infertility. Here's a good one. Why is so many of our children in our world they're getting their cycle before their menstrual cycles before they're young adults? Like I have patients coming into my clinic, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I'd rather see 12, 13, 14, 15, right? I'm not used to seeing 7 and 8-year-olds to ask them, are you menstruating? I had to put that in my brain about 5 years ago. And this is all the hormones that we're putting in our foods. So please, if you have children, please do grass-fed organic so that you're not driving hormones into your children. It's an issue in the US. You can also get metabolic dysfunction, like you might not be able to lose weight as well. You may have an adrenal overload, an exhaustion overload. There can also, the other thing that our toxicity is doing is it's stunting growth in children. They can't grow because they don't have the nutrients because they're overloaded with toxicity. And then, of course, no surprise, cancer, with all this toxicity coming around us. Liver and kidney can also get damaged because remember the 4 organ systems that we just talked about. If there's an overabundance of toxins in the body, then we can end up with kidney disease and or liver disease and or kidney failure. Not saying that's where it's going to go first. I mean, the body's really good at pivoting the best it can. And the body does want to pivot and be well, but it's going to be well at the rate of what we're actually putting in it and what we're actually breathing and what we're around. Respiration, right? So when I look at people when they come into the clinic with like allergies and like emphysema and how many people do you know are using inhalers, right? So often when I remove dairy, not always, but when I remove dairies and grains, I can get that under control. But yet it's okay for us to all have asthma. No, it's not. It's not okay to have a condition at all. So let's figure out where your condition is and heal you, right? Like we don't have to settle to have low peak performance. Just like we don't have to settle to not have healthy relationships, which are toxic as well. We get to stand up every day and create whole health just like we do everything else. And if we don't have our health, it's a challenge to have positive relationships, to like live a life, to live your best life. So lung cancer is on the extreme of actually respiratory illnesses. We can also have cardiovascular problems. They can damage the heart. It can damage the blood vessels, increasing the risk for heart disease. Digestive issues. The digestive tract gets hit because remember I said mouth to anus is to the outside world. So if we disrupt our microbiome and we're not eating enough vegetables and fats and proteins, then we can end up with bloating, gas, constipation, and or diarrhea. So remember, all these toxins that we're talking about can widely depend on the type of toxin, the level of the exposure that you're actually taking in, and your overall health, your genetics. That's why it's so important to know where these toxins are coming from. So toxins are coming from everywhere in our modern life. And they're probably found in places that you might not expect, but maybe you do expect. I don't know. So if we look at food, please, like, think of organic and grass-fed. If you can't, go on the environmental working group, ewg.org, if it's a budget issue. But I'm telling you what, if you don't spend good money on food or find good sources, then your body's going to become toxic. So we're looking at pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are sprayed on our crops, and they leave residue on fruits and vegetables. All of this is non-organic, by the way. So then, not only are we not eating organic food, but then we're going out and we're eating processed foods that have artificial preservatives, sugar alcohols, colors, and flavors that the body can't digest. So that's considered toxic, right? Like, every time you want to eat a processed food, I want you to think of me. I want you to think of me and be like, oh, wait. My body might not be able to digest this. Fish and other seafood could contain heavy metals of mercury, like the bigger fishes. So I always say buy a wild line caught. Tuna, be really careful. Know where you're getting your tuna from. I know it's easy for many of us to make tuna of some sort, but just be aware of it. Is any of this surprising anybody? If it's surprising you, put yes in the chat. If it's not, then I'll know that you understand that toxicity is everywhere. Right? So it's just everywhere around us. Water, tap water, our city water, our town water. It can have so many contaminants in it, like lead and mercury and chlorine and fluoride and even pharmaceuticals. Bottled water often contains plastic-derived chemicals like BPH. How many have heard of BPH? That is in a lot of plastic foods. So if you're going to buy foods in the grocery store, then please make sure they're bought in glass. Don't buy them in plastic. Even if they say BPA free, I'm not sure what they are. The other thing that many people don't know is the cans that you buy. If you buy canned, I don't know, let's say tomatoes. Inside of the can is often plastic. And so the vegetables are all canned in there and they're sitting in there, and then you're going to eat them, right? Because they learned that the foods next to the cans weren't so healthy, and now we're going to add plastic to protect it. So we're covering up. The best thing to do is actually put a reverse osmosis system or a Berkeley system or something that can remove the toxicity from your water. The other piece that probably many of you are aware of but really haven't thought about is the pollution in the environment. So whether it's from vehicles, whether it's from industrial processes, whether it's from secondhand smoke, thank God most of the places don't allow smoke in the restaurants and things now. They contain harmful chemicals because we all have more cars on the road. We all are burning in incineration plants. We've got corporations trying to get rid of stuff, dumping stuff into the water. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So I'm so glad all of you that are on here for your health, to learn, like, where do I look for these pieces? Because I will tell you, patients that I work with have no idea this until they get to learn it. So soils near industrial areas or old houses can actually contain lead as well. So we don't have as much lead unless you're in older homes. So one of the things that's really cool is when I see a patient in the clinic, I can actually do iridology and I can tell you the rings of toxicity in your eye. And that can tell me how toxic you are. So those of you that want to visit New Hampshire and be a patient, come on along because I'd love to have you. I also have all these treatments we're going to talk about at the clinic. Personal care products. Take a deep breath. I bet you don't think about your hair, what you're using for skin. What you're using for shampoo, what you're using for conditioner, what you're using for hairspray. And guess what? You're right near the scalp. So, spraying that hairspray or, you're washing with, all these chemically laden shampoos and conditioners, it can just absorb right into the skin. The other big one is makeup. Like makeup in our country, not Europe, thank goodness, because Europe doesn't allow it, but makeup in our country has toxicity in it. How sad is that? You have to be aware of like what you're putting on your skin and your body lotions, your oils. Like just know that a lot of these lotions contain parabens, phthalates, and other chemicals that can disrupt our hormones. And then we wonder why we have all these endocrine issues. And then nail polish often, not all, but you can find natural ones, but they're not going to last as long, or nail systems have formaldehyde on them. Holy cow, holy scary, right? And we're putting that on our body. So let's go to our household items. When we're thinking of our household items, we're thinking of cleaning products like Cloroxes, non-stick cookware. Please don't cook with aluminum. We know, don't even use aluminum foil when you're cooking. Use parchment paper, because aluminum foil can get into the food and it can cause Alzheimer's. Don't use non-stick pans. They release toxic fumes when you overheat them. Don't use plastic food containers. Use glass. You can use a plastic top. You don't need to have a glass top, but just make sure the food doesn't touch the plastic top. Furniture and mattresses and new cars, they all have flame retardant chemicals. I didn't even think about this about going there, so I'm not going to go there, but be aware what you put on your baby. Because for some reason, the US, I don't know about all of you, but I didn't have flame retardant pajamas and mattresses and all that. That's just chemicals that can go into the body. And why can I speak about this and know about this? Many of you that know me or don't know me, I used to work in the apparel industry. I have a textile marketing degree. So I know what I'm talking about with the chemicals on clothing and the requirements. I used to be like, holy cow, we put this on our babies and our kids' clothing, and then they absorb it in. Like, it's just really scary. So just be aware, like if you buy furniture, what you could do is buy it when you're away on vacation and let it off gas, or put it in a garage somewhere and let it off gas so you're not bringing it in. The other chemicals are, when you're painting in your house and things, you can use low VO paints. Like there's ways to go about this. When I did my clinic like 18 years ago, there was no VO paints and I used them. This is a hard one for people because you work where you work, but depending on your job, you might be exposed to a lot of chemicals like solvents and things. There can be toner and dust in office printers and disinfectants by healthcare workers. It's really sad. The healthcare, not only is our healthcare falling apart, we're in a sick care, but we're also using all this cleanliness in the healthcare system to clean. And then lastly, I think I talked about this already, like waste incarceration, fossil fuel combustion, and road salting. That's not going to affect those of you that are in places that don't get snow, but here I'm affected by it. So do I have anybody Yes, deodorant. How do you mean build the body up? Gina, I think you're referring to toxins. So the toxins get built up in the body over time. If that's what you're referring to, the only other thing I can think of is you can build the immune system up by eating healthy, quality, nutrient dense food. So I'm not sure if you want to clarify if you're still on, because we have so many more people that joined. I am not sure what you're clarifying here, what your question is, but if you want to pop it in, I'll hit it after this. We're just about done. We're on the last piece. And then I just really want to talk and hear your questions, like what your questions are around this, because at the end of the day, I get it. I want you to get it. So I'm just going to give you some ideas to think about when we get off this live today, because that's always my goal. Like, hey, what could I start to add in right now? So one of the things that you could start doing, which I have all my patients do, is start your day with a glass of water. You could put in and that's filtered water. You could put a pinch of Himalayan sea salt and some lemon in there. This is just a simple practice that will help kickstart your digestive system. It helps hydrate your body, and it helps with the natural detox processes moving. Start looking at your diet, your nutrition around you. If you're addicted, and I can use that word because I get it all the time with patients, if you're addicted to, I don't know, I don't eat processed foods, but let's say Reese's peanut butter cups. Start to be aware of the nutrients in there. Know where it's coming from, right? Start to eliminate processed foods and start to really incorporate organic vegetables and fruit into your diet. Make sure you eat protein in the morning if you can. So all of these quality vegetables and fruits, start to add those in. So at my clinic, the patients that work with me, the first thing I tell them is 12 varying types of vegetables. Yep, you heard me, 12. Why? Because our soil is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. 12. All of you, all of the platforms, 12. So start to look at like, hey, where could I add in raspberries? Raspberries are all around us in the, right now. Where could I add in blueberries? Where could I eliminate, like, maybe you're eating a chocolate. Maybe you could get a quality organic dark chocolate. I don't know what it is for you, but start to think about it and be aware of it. If you're not moving your body now, part of detox is moving your body, getting your cardiovascular system going. It's not just because it's good for you. It is needed. It is needed for the body to run. So regular exercise, even if it's as simple as daily walks, it helps stimulate your circulatory and lymph systems. And remember, back to earlier, that's where detox happens, and it's a key role in it. So those of you that are following me and that my patients are on here, you all know that I'm doing 75 hard. So after I hang up here, I get to do my second 45-minute workout. So I'm moving my body and I feel fantastic. There's days where it's not easy, but I'm on it. I'm on day 15 right now. So move your body. I'm not saying you have to do 75 hard, but it's super fun. And there's a bunch of us that are doing it. Breathing exercises. We talked about breath as a key to get rid of and eliminate toxins. Do deep practice, deep mindful. I almost said mental too, but deep mindful breathing. So this is going to enhance oxygen circulation. It's going to get rid of carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is going to get rid of the toxins. Start looking around somewhere, whether it's your beauty products, whether it's your cleaning products. Consider to start swapping that out. Often with patients, I have them start looking at their foods first. And probably a year or a year and a half into working with me, then I have them start looking at their toxic load in skincare products and shampoos and makeups. and their cleaning products, those sorts of things. The other key piece across the board for the body to run at its optimal level is sleep. Please don't think you can run on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. You can't. 7 to 8 to 9. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, because the detox processes often occur during sleep. When you rest, you heal. So good sleep is essential for detox. So when we're talking about this today, I want to sum up, and then I want to throw out some really good questions here. But when I'm talking about detox, I'm not talking about massive drastic changes or punishing your body. I'm actually wanting to show you sustainable lifestyle choices that you can start doing right now so that your body can start to function at its peak performance. You get to listen to your body to make changes at your pace. Remember, I started this off by saying a change that I make might be different than you make. So enjoy the journey to creating better health. It's not like I'm just going to go to the doctors. I have high blood pressure and I'm going to take a medication. Yes, there's a time and a place like that. But I want to call all of you out. If you're not doing anything to love your body, I don't care how simple it is, you get to start today, please. My vision is to heal chronic disease, and I can't do it if you guys aren't on board with me. The more influential individuals that you come in contact with, like myself, who are here to educate and teach you. I asked a question in the beginning: how many people do something to create health? Put healing in the chat for me, so I know, because we have a much larger audience now than we had a few minutes ago. Come on. You guys have lots of hearts and likes and things like that. Donise, thank you. Healing every day. I know Donise personally. I know she's into natural health, wellness. She teaches people how to eat really quality nutrition. Let me know if you're putting healing in there. What are you actually doing? What do you do? Jacqueline, what do you do for healing? Is it water? Is it movement? Is it exercise? Drop one thing in there. Because the truth is that you get to create a way of living for yourself. And I'm just literally the conduit to teach this to you. Come on, there's so many more of you, but I guess you don't want to play. I really want to chat and get you guys engaged, but where are all my peeps? I've got a lot of people on the leaderboard here, but not a lot of peeps want to answer. Oh, okay, cool. So Denise is mentioning that she uses a Alka Viva water filtration system. So there's another water filtration option that those of you that are looking for. Jacqueline, exercise, eating better, and dropping sugar. So I believe Jacqueline was on my sugar detox challenge. So congratulations that you're really being focused on sugar. Any questions that I can answer? I do lemon and ginger water first thing. Yeah, that's fine. Ginger is great for getting the digestion going as well. Some people think ginger is a little bit too strong in the morning, but again, that works for you, Jacqueline. So great. That's great. Gina's healing daily. No comments on Instagram. Okay. All right. So any other questions that I can answer? I know today was a lot about how the body works. What do we look at for detoxification? Then I threw out some ways for you to actually start to detox so that you can start doing it when we get off this live. The last thing I want to ask you is, Are you trying to do all the things, but you're actually struggling to get healthy? Are you like, I can't lose weight. I feel exhausted. Like, I'm just not, like, I'm telling you, get help. I'm going to stop harling because I'm so passionate about this. Get help. If you are struggling to feel better, it could be some simple changes. Like, I just had a patient in my clinic last week, and she did not want to get a hormonal profile done. It was all about money, but yet she does very well. So she went and she got it done. And I'm so glad she got it done because now we get to work on her hormones. She has neuroinflammation. Great. Thanks for sharing that, Gina. Awesome. You're doing great. You know, so don't hesitate to not do the things that are going to let you create health. Take a step in the right direction. I just want to support you on that healing journey. This is what I'm here for. All right, guys. I want to see all of you tomorrow. We've had an amazing turnout today we've got a VIP. We've got so many of you between LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And then those are my friends on Instagram. I appreciate you. I honestly, with my heart, love all of you. And I can't wait to show up for tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about nutrition and how it plays a huge role in detox. So get ready for another mind-blowing. Bring your questions either from yesterday or today. I'll always make time for that. Have a beautiful evening. And I'm telling you, go do something new for yourself today that equals whole health. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day.